Let's suppose that you are going on a date tonight. You have a date, or you're going to a social situation, but you're going to this date, right? And you want to make sure that you are on top and you are on your A game. All of the things I'm about to share with you are going to instantly upgrade you overnight because of just how easy they are. And I actually got this idea just because I was folding my laundry a minute ago and I was like, man, I think about these things all the time and they're just second nature for me. But I also know that a ton of guys actually don't, because I've met them and had to interact with them in person and experience these people. And it's like, oh, a lot of these things, these guys could be so much better just in their presentation of themselves and in their own lives for their own sakes if they focused on these things. So you're going on a date, right? 5 things you need to start doing today for that date tonight or that date tomorrow. If you have it tonight, then this last one, you're out of luck. It's too late. I'm sorry, bro. But if you have it tomorrow, you might still have a chance. So let's hop into this. Number 1, keeping a tidy living space. Okay, keeping tidy is super important for 2 reasons. 1, it's an external reflection of how you are as a person. When other people look at you and see you in their lives, they're like, oh, this guy keeps his room clean, this guy keeps his house clean, his personal belongings are in order, right? Keeping a tidy living space reflects who you are as a person on the outside to other people, and also, it's also going to affect your mental state. There are studies that have been done that show that if you're having a messy living space, your sleep quality goes down, your stress levels go up, everything in your life becomes worse because you're just crowded by junk, and none of us want that. Like, it just feels gross. And I know some people have trouble with actually keeping a tidy living space. I had an experience where I had to share this room actually with someone for a while, and this is my office, right? And so this is like a community room just in our house. So I got my desk over here, I got this set up, and I use this room for recording. But he was living here and he did not clean very well. And it wasn't terrible. He was not like messy or dirty. He just didn't have his stuff organized, and it was okay. It was a short-term thing. But I would also try and be in here and it would be messy, right? And so he and I would hang out in here a lot. We do stuff. And during that time, I wasn't super concerned about having it clean. But if I had actually been trying to work in here, obviously I was hosting someone, so it wasn't like I was going to be doing a ton of work in here right now. But I wouldn't have been able to do that, and he wouldn't have been able to do that in the long term if it hadn't been kept clean and tidy. So he and I joined forces and we did clean it up a little bit. But that goes to say, like, sometimes we have more disorganized brains, we have kind of crazier thoughts, and like, I know personally I can just completely forget what I'm doing, and like, I'll end up not cleaning stuff up, but then I notice that it affects me. It affects my work, it affects how I'm doing stuff, it affects my progress, and so I'm not having the same level of output, and I'm not having the same level of enjoyment or relaxation when I am doing my work, because it's a mess. No one wants a mess, and also other people don't want to know that you are a messy person, that everything in your house is disorganized, that all of your personal belongings are just thrown everywhere and it's chaotic and you don't have it under wraps, because that just displays that you aren't a very tidy, organized person. It shows a lack of control and a lack of self-discipline, so it just doesn't reflect good on you. Number 2 is keeping up on hygiene. Very similarly, this is basically the version of keeping up your space, but for your body, right? Your body. So I knew a guy once and he did not have good hygiene at all. Like, he had, the lips were always gross. His hair was like, dude, you gotta cut that. And his nails were really bad. And thankfully, I don't remember him ever smelling too bad. I cannot stand that personally. Anyways, he actually, like, it was just kind of like difficult to talk to this guy, and I've met a couple guys like this, like quite frequently actually. You'd be surprised how many guys do not keep up on their hygiene. Like, you have to keep up on the hygiene, man. It's important. And it's just completely distracting for anyone trying to talk to you. They can't focus because they're too focused on your bad hygiene. It's just gross, and it like completely mentally takes away their presence of learning about you as an individual to, this guy doesn't take care of himself. Like, his room is a mess, his hygiene is a mess. So taking care of your hygiene is super important, super fast to do too. It just takes dedicated thought. I think that's the entire theme of this entire video. Put some dedicated thought into these things and it'll be a lot better for you, because it's a lot easier for me when I just take the time on a weekly basis to upkeep these different types of things. So you've tidied up your living space, right? The morning of this date, you've got your living space tidied so you're able to think clearly and you're able to say, look, these people are going to know that I'm a cleaned up guy because I keep my space around me clean. And you've gotten your hygiene set up so you're looking nice, you're looking sharp, you got a fresh haircut, you took a shower so you don't smell bad, right, before the date. You've got your nails trimmed up, you're making sure that your eyebrows are in shape, and you're making sure that your facial hair is either trimmed the way it needs to be or that you just don't have any. If you're a younger guy, I really don't suggest that you have facial hair until you can actually grow a full beard. And then these days, like stubble, intentional stubble is best, not 5 o'clock shadow. No. Number 3, this actually isn't hygiene. This isn't keeping your room or your spaces clean. This is keeping your conversations clean. Now, you're going to go to the date, right? And you're going to be considerate of her in conversation. It's not just going to be all about you, right? We're making sure that we're talking to her. We're making sure that we're actually focusing on her, right? This is actually considering others in conversations. It's really important because we can often, I know I will sometimes even end up doing more of the talking. I have an energetic personality when it comes to my conversations. I like to take charge of things. And so I have to remind myself, like, hey, slow down, let the other person speak. Like, especially if they don't have an equally matched level of energy. Some people just don't, and that's okay. Some people just don't talk as much. And so sometimes you might have to lead the conversations. But when you're in conversation with people, it is an amazing baseline rule of thumb to just focus on that person, right? You have to be mentally present. If you're mentally present in your house, if you're mentally present in your hygiene, if you're mentally present in your conversations, and you're being considerate of them, and you're just considering and talking to them, right? Like, I'm not here to just talk about me. I'm also here to listen to you, and we're here to have a conversation. It's a two-way street. Why are you at this date? Unless you're here to hook up with her and that's the only reason you're talking to this girl, you're here to connect with her and to make a relationship with her, right? You're here, hopefully, because you're watching this channel and you're watching this video right now, you are working towards marrying her or marrying someone. You're going to marry someone someday and you're trying to see, I like this girl. Is she the one? Is she the right fit for me? You know, there's probably more than one person that you could marry. I don't think that there's just one singular person. But you want to know, like, is this girl the one that I'm going to choose to marry? And so you can't do that if you're not focusing on her. So let's talk about number 5. If you didn't do this the night before, you're screwed, and it's just going to not be as enjoyable for you. And she's going to notice that, and she is going to reflect this, and she's going to see, oh, this is happening. Not cool. You need to focus on proper sleep. Sleep is really important because if you're not getting enough sleep, everything goes down, right? You're not going to keep your hygiene up. You're not going to have clean mental space. You're not going to be considerate of other people because you're too tired to even pay attention to them. You need to have proper sleep so that you can actually be able to function ahead of time to do all of these other things and to also be mentally present with her and enjoy her on the date. You really want to make sure that you're actually getting the right sleep for your body. Because remember, when you don't sleep enough, like we talked about earlier, you have a cortisol increase when your space around you is gross because your stress levels rise. So your cortisol goes up. That's what your stress is. It's cortisol. It's a hormone in your body. And conversely, your testosterone goes down because you only have 100%, whether that's 60% cortisol and 40 testosterone, or 60 T, 100 T, and like 40 or 20 cortisol. So you want to keep your testosterone high and your cortisol low. And one of the ways you do that is by getting proper sleep. So if you're not sleeping well, if you're not keeping your space clean, if you're not paying attention to her, she's going to notice all these things and she's just going to say, wow, this guy just doesn't have his stuff together. I always try and focus on getting proper sleep. I always try and focus on being mentally present with what I'm doing in the moment. Do not disturb can be your best friend. Hot tip. If you are on a date, just turn your phone off for a little while, right? Put it down. Don't be looking at it. So bonus tip, number 6, I'll add it to my thing. Turn off your phone. Turn it off. Just leave it alone. You're on one-on-one time with her right now, and you want to display that to her. One of my favorite ways of doing that, turn off the screen, put it screen down on the table. Then you see it, you're seeing the back of your phone. It looks cool, right? Hopefully you've got a cool phone case. Hopefully your phone's not gross and dirty too. Keep your phone clean. I gotta make a whole nother episode now. I'm giving out more secrets. What am I doing here? Keep your phone cleaned up, and just leave it face down on the table. My words are not working today, but that's okay because I don't have to be perfect. And there you go. Also, don't be perfect. Don't focus so hard on being perfect. You're going to spin out in your head, and you're setting a standard that's way too high for yourself. One of the guys that I follow here on YouTube even just made a video about that the other day. He was making a video about 4 things to do on your first date. And so that's not this video. This video came because I was folding laundry and it turned into a scenario, you're on your first date video. But those are the things to keep in mind, okay? So keep a tidy living space around you. Keep your body tidy. Make sure that you're paying attention to people when you're talking to them and being considerate of them. Make sure that you're keeping the restrooms and the different facilities that you're using clean. Don't get water all over the sink. Obviously, you know what to do with the toilet. And remember to focus on your sleep. Make sure you have good sleep the night before and every single night so that you can, all in all, keep your cortisol lower, keep your testosterone higher, and keep your mental ability to focus higher. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It ran a little longer than I intended, but those are 5 things you can do today. Super easy. Just make a little mental note, write them down on a sticky note if you have to, stick it on there, open it on your notes in your phone, just something like that. So it's super easy for you to remember these things, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay guys, so I'm sitting here in post and I'm actually realizing that I think I lost along the way somewhere tip number 3, which was to keep a tidy bathroom and restroom space. You got to do this because of a lot of reasons, but like I said in the video towards the end there, don't get water all over the sink. Please keep the hair at a minimum, and also the toilet, just keep that clean, man. Don't let it be smelling bad. Don't leave stuff all over it, basic stuff. Because if you do this, no matter where you do it, it's going to be really gross. People are going to hate that, absolutely. And it just portrays you as an absolute slob, and you don't want that. So keep the bathroom tidied and keep it clean. And honestly, just try not to spend as much time in there as you have to, right? I really try to make sure that I'm being in there as little as possible because there's not a reason to be. I don't take longer showers, and there's not you have a skincare routine and stuff, hopefully, but that's all you really need to be doing in there. So less time in there is better. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know if you want to see more tips and tricks style videos, because I have a lot of stuff that I could do, but I just don't feel like it's this stuff that's important that I need to be focusing on right now. And it wasn't something that I wanted to do back in the beginning, so I've always tried to avoid it as much as possible, except for the relaunch that I did back in March. So if that was interesting to you guys, then subscribe so you can see more and learn more, and I will talk to you guys in the next episode.